What if by 2026, the world splits into those who manage to buy Bitcoin and those who spend their lives working for them? Most Americans are sleepwalking into a financial buzzsaw. You feel it at the grocery store. You see it in rent prices. But you are refusing to do the arithmetic. We are entering a period of irreversible financial exclusion. The window to secure your position in the new digital hierarchy is closing, and the latch clicks shut in 2026. Why that date? Because the supply shock from the institutional accumulation phase will have fully materialized, colliding with the post-halving reality. At that point, acquiring 0.01 Bitcoin, just 1 million Satoshis, will likely become mathematically impossible for the average wage earner. This is not about luxury. It is about preservation. It is about avoiding zero. We are going to examine 8 critical questions that stand between you and financial serfdom. If you ignore this, you are choosing poverty. Let's start with simple napkin math. Let's look at the absolute brutality of the numbers. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. That is a hard cap. No government can print more. No central bank can debase it. Now divide that by 8 billion people. Do you know how much each person gets? If distributed evenly, every person on Earth gets 0.0026 Bitcoin. That is it. That is your slice of the pie. But that assumes equal distribution, which is a fantasy. Millions of coins are lost forever, digital dust. Millions more are locked in cold storage by early adopters who will never sell. The real available supply is a fraction of what you think. When you own 0.01 Bitcoin, you effectively own 4 times the global average. You are securing a seat on a life raft that only has room for a tiny percentage of the human race. If you do not secure this fraction now, while it is still priced within reach of a monthly paycheck, you are mathematically guaranteeing your status as a financial peasant. The math does not care about your feelings. It only cares about scarcity. Who is actually stealing your future right now? You think you are competing against other retail investors? You are wrong. You are competing against giants. While you hesitate, wondering if the price will drop another 5%, the largest asset managers in the world are aggressively sweeping the floor. BlackRock, Fidelity, sovereign wealth funds. They are not buying to trade, they are buying to hold forever. They are building a moat around the asset class, and you are standing on the outside. Every single day, the ETFs are consuming more Bitcoin than miners can produce. This is a supply-side liquidity crunch. These institutions know that the dollar is dying. They are exiting the fiat system and entering the hard money system. By the time 2026 arrives, the liquidity on exchanges will be so dry that the price action will be violent and vertical. If you wait until you see it on the news, it is over. You will be priced out forever. You will be left behind, watching institutions dictate the terms of your financial existence. Do not trust calculators promising instant millions. Trust the flow of funds. The big money is front-running you. Why is 2026 the point of no return? We need to talk about the cycle. The halving in 2024 was the trigger, but the explosion happens afterward. Historically, the supply shock takes 12 to 18 months to fully break the market. That lands us squarely in the danger zone of late 2025 and early 2026. By the end of 2026, the daily issuance of new Bitcoin will be negligible compared to global demand. The miners, who used to be the biggest sellers, will have nothing left to dump. The sell pressure evaporates. When sell pressure hits zero and demand remains constant, price goes to infinity. But demand is not constant, it is exponential. By 2026, corporate treasuries and nation-states will likely be bidding for the same sats you are trying to buy with your depreciating salary. If you do not have your 0.01 Bitcoin locked away before this supply cliff, you will never get it. The train leaves the station, and it does not come back for stragglers. You will be stuck on the platform of fiat currency while it burns to the ground. How fast is your cash actually dying? Let's be realistic for a second. You work hard for your dollars, but your dollars are programmed to lose value. It is a melting ice cube. The government has $35 trillion in debt. They have no choice but to print more money to service that debt. This is the shrinking ruler. Every year, your labor buys less food, less housing, and less energy. If you keep your wealth in cash, you are running on a treadmill that is speeding up. You are working harder just to stay in the same place. This is slavery with extra steps. Bitcoin is the exit. It is the only asset in the known universe that cannot be diluted. When you buy 0.01 Bitcoin, you are freezing your purchasing power in time. You are opting out of the system that steals your time and energy through inflation. If you fail to secure this position, you are volunteering to have your life energy siphoned off by central bankers until you reach zero. Do not let them steal your labor. This is not investment. This is self-defense against a predatory system. Will you end up on the wrong side of the wealth transfer? History is defined by wealth transfers. We are living through the greatest one ever recorded, but this time it is digital, and it is absolute. The world is splitting into two distinct classes, those who own scarce assets and those who work for depreciating currency. So where do you rank if you own 0.01 Bitcoin? Compared to the global population, that puts you in a tiny elite. It sounds ridiculous. How could 1/100th of anything make you elite? Because we are used to measuring wealth in dollars, and dollars are infinite trash. When you look at 0.01 Bitcoin, do not focus on today's dollar price. Focus on how many people simply cannot ever own that much. By 2026, possessing 1 million Satoshis will distinguish the sovereign individual from the financial dependent. If you are on the wrong side of this transfer, no amount of hard work will save you. You will be a permanent renter in a world owned by people who understood scarcity. Do not be a tenant on your own planet. Is your own brain programmed to keep you poor? The biggest threat to your Bitcoin is not the government. It is not hackers. It is you. It is your own psychology. Psychology has wiped out more portfolios than any bear market. You suffer from unit bias. You look at the price of one Bitcoin and say, it is too expensive. So you buy 1 million units of some garbage meme coin because it feels cheap. This is a trap. You are buying plentiful garbage instead of scarce gold. One more trap remains. I will wait for a pullback. While you wait for a 10% drop, the market rips 50% higher. You are playing chicken with a steamroller. The desire to time the market is a poverty mindset. The goal is not to guess the bottom. The goal is to accumulate 0.01 Bitcoin before the door closes. Stop trying to outsmart the market. You are not a trader. You are a survivor, trying to secure a spot on the lifeboat. Get your emotions out of the way, or they will bankrupt you. What is the brutal price of hesitation? Let's do a simulation. Scenario A. You buy 1 million Satoshis today. It hurts. It requires sacrifice. Maybe you skip a vacation. Maybe you drive an old car. But you own the asset. Scenario B. You wait until 2026. Bitcoin has effectively repriced the world. The cost to acquire that same 0.01 Bitcoin now requires 2 years of your total gross salary. You cannot afford it. You are locked out. The price of hesitation is not just lost profit, it is lost freedom. As Bitcoin demonetizes gold, real estate, and bonds, it will absorb the monetary premium of the world. If you are holding zero assets when that happens, you hit financial zero. The gap between the haves and the have-nots will become an unbridgeable canyon. Every day you wait, the bridge burns a little more. You will be left behind. staring across the chasm at the people who took action. Do not let hesitation be your legacy. Is there any other life raft left? Look around you. Where else can you go? Real estate? The average home price is unaffordable for the average family, and interest rates are crushing. Stocks? They are trading at historic valuations, propped up by money printing. Bonds? They pay you less than the rate of inflation, guaranteeing you lose purchasing power. There is no other asymmetric bet. There is no other life raft. Bitcoin is the only asset that is truly finite, portable, and unseizable. It is the only game in town where the rules cannot be changed by a politician in a suit. If you miss this, there is no plan B. There is no second chance to buy a slice of the protocol layer of the Internet of Value. By 2026, the era of early adoption is over. The era of accumulation is over. The era of consequences begins. You either own the network or you work for the network. Which side of the equation do you want to be on? We have looked at the math. We have looked at the timeline. The conclusion is brutal but clear. 1 million Satoshis, 0.01 Bitcoin, is the dividing line between the future elite and the future serfs. The clock is ticking toward 2026. This is a psychological marathon, and you are running out of time. Do not let your skepticism condemn you to poverty. Secure your position. Get off zero. If this helped you see the numbers more clearly, hit like and subscribe. In the next video, we will tackle another major myth: why everyone fears stablecoin regulation, and why it might actually be the best thing that ever happened to crypto. See you there.